in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for coming back, giving us a listen. We appreciate it. It means a lot when you guys tune in, so thank you for doing so. And hopefully we got some good stuff today that you guys can use in your life and just keep on moving forward with it all. So this is the Premier Mindset by Premier Performance, hosted by me, Trent Mahler, LCSW. LCSW means licensed clinical social worker, meaning essentially that I'm a licensed therapist. And there's a lot of different things we're going to get into today, going back around the idea of distress tolerance. So we'll get more into what that is and how we can use it and all those kind of things. But first we're going to cover a couple things just to kind of start the show. First thing I want to point out is that our episodes are on various platforms. It's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, kind of any of these areas where this stuff is available, it'll be there. If there's anywhere that you want it that you don't see it, let me know and I can put it there. That's always helpful for us, just to know what people are looking for. We also have social media where we post a lot of these clips. We post a lot of different things. And we have the video version on Spotify and YouTube if anyone wants to check that out too. So, follow these different things, subscribe, leave us a review, like, love, favorite, all this kind of stuff. All of that feedback is super helpful and it just helps us kind of expand this reach. So anything you can do and kind of help boost up what we're trying to get out there would be awesome. And we really appreciate that. So like I said, we're going to get into distress tolerance, but I want to keep in mind that this is not a replacement for therapy. This is not something that we can use instead and just kind of take care of it. If we got stuff we got to work on and things that we need to take care of, it's best just to get into that and do the work because there's not really a replacement for the work. Just like you could learn all day long about exercise, but there's nothing like actually getting the exercise. So get the work if we need the work. This is all meant to be educational and hopefully helping out, giving a couple insights or pointing some people in some directions that might be helpful in their path. And, none of this stuff is just random things I'm throwing at the wall hoping it works. All this stuff is research backed and it's coming from somewhere because I want to give you guys stuff that works, that I know works, that I've seen work. So I don't want to take you guys' time with stuff that I know isn't super helpful or I'm not sure if it's helpful. I know we got a lot going on. We got busy lives. So I want to make sure everything I'm giving you guys is helpful and you guys can start using it now. If you have any questions or issues, anything that you want to send out to me, whether it be a topic you want me to cover or something you want me to go more in depth on or just a message you want to send, you can send it in a lot of different ways. You can always message through our social media accounts. We have a few of those. We have our Instagram, which is Premier_Performance_Reno. We have our Facebook page and our LinkedIn page, which is Premier Performance LLC for both of those. We also have some specific ways you can reach out that are a little more personal, whether it be email. You could reach me at tmahler@premierperformancereno.com, and my last name is spelled Mahler. You can also text or call at 775-561-0056. Again, I just want to help out however I can, so you guys let me know what I can do, what questions you have, what I can do to kind of help build you guys up and help you guys optimize yourself and get to that optimization of performance that we're looking for. And that's our goal here at the Premier Mindset, is create that mindset that sets us up for success so that we can have that success and just enjoy the rewards of it all. And you all deserve it. I just want to help you guys get there. So reach out if you have anything. I would love to hear from you guys. Any feedback at all is awesome. Just let us know what you're looking for and what we could add or anything like that. Anything constructive is always awesome too. Anything is welcome, even if you want to send things anonymously. Just feel free to send in stuff. So we're going to jump straight into some things. First thing though, we're going to do our little brain activity to get started. This one, we're going to focus on something called breathing color exercise. This may be a little tough for people that haven't done any mindfulness practices or aren't super familiar with like meditation, these kind of things, or even visualization. It's kind of a combination of all of those things. So with this is a mindfulness practice to help us relieve some tension, relieve some stress in that moment, to feel our body kind of cool down, calm down, kind of relax a little bit in the moment. Kind of fits a little bit well with what we're doing today, which is distress tolerance. And again, we'll go into that a little bit more in the near future of just what that looks like as we get further into the episode. I just want to jump into this to give you guys something to start with and see if you get anything from it. The way we do this is you want to kind of pick a color that feels calm, whatever that color may be. It could be blue, it could be yellow, it could be purple, whatever color that to you feels calming, something you enjoy. I also want you to pick a color that feels like it represents like stress or tension or problems or chaos, whatever it may be. So if you pick those two colors, maybe your calm color is like blue and maybe your like stress color is like red. Just an example. You can use whatever you want to use. The way we then do it is we want to imagine that when we breathe in, that we're breathing in that color that we're choosing as our calm color. So maybe it's that blue in this example. So you're imagining with our eyes closed, we're visualizing that blue light kind of coming in as we're inhaling, as we're kind of breathing in that air. And then as we breathe out, we want to imagine that color we're choosing as that stress to be leaving our body. Maybe it's red in this example. So as you're breathing out with those eyes closed, you imagine that that breath out is holding that color, holding that red light, and it's kind of projecting it outside of your body, getting it gone, getting it emptied out, feeling like it's leaving your body. So this works double. The breathing method is helpful because it's going to calm the body. It's using that biological process to just calm our system down, which is going to help out by itself. But that added piece of the visualization of the light or the color can also kind of increase the impact and have it release a little bit more because the brain likes seeing things. It likes seeing progress. It likes seeing things in action. So yes, the breathing mechanism is helpful, but seeing the light come in, seeing the light come out, it's just easier for the brain to understand what's happening, and it's going to feel that calm down and that stress relief a little bit deeper. So give that a chance, see how that is. If you want to just pause the episode and try it out for like 5 minutes and see what you think, you might find yourself feeling pretty good. If you're having a stressful day and you need to just take a break and just kind of reset, you only got a couple minutes, these kind of things can be really helpful. And I'm going to just keep on giving out more. I want to give you guys a bunch of different tools that are helpful. So whatever situation you have going on, you feel like you have exactly what you need to tackle it. So try that out. Let me know what you think. If it's helpful, awesome. If you don't like it, that's totally okay. There's going to be things that we talk about that just don't fit with you because everything works different for different people. And what matters isn't what works for someone else. It's what works for you. So give it a shot. Don't write it off just because we don't know or we haven't done it before. But don't feel too bad about it if it doesn't work or it doesn't give you what you're looking for. You just might need a little bit of something else or maybe something on top of it. Or maybe there's something underneath it all that we're not even realizing is messing with us. So keep that in mind. Let me know how that's going, and we'll jump more into it. So distress tolerance, what this is it's one of the 4 modules that come in the therapy technique called DBT. DBT stands for dialectical behavioral therapy. And this is a type of cognitive behavioral therapy that focuses on helping individuals regulate their emotions, manage stress, and improve relationships. It was originally developed by Dr. Marsha Linehan to treat borderline personality disorder, and that's a certain diagnosis that has to do with very extreme emotions at times, difficulties in relationships, kind of going back to what it was talking about and why it's helpful for this. And the cool thing with it is DBT was kind of created with the mindset in mind of this being a therapy technique for us therapists to use to help us to not burn out. We just also found that it's really helpful with a lot of different clients in different situations, so we keep using it and we keep on incorporating it in a lot of ways, and we're seeing more and more of it in the community as more research comes out. DBT combines individual therapy with group skills training sessions. We're going to get deeper in future episodes into what DBT is itself and what's in it, so you guys have a better idea of what you're looking for if you are pursuing like a therapist for yourself or just exploring more information for yourself. But I just wanted to do a quick overview of it, so don't worry too much about how it's run, and just kind of keep in mind that this is where it's coming from. So DBT emphasizes accepting and changing behaviors through key techniques such as mindfulness, emotion regulation, interpersonal effectiveness, and distress tolerance. Those are those 4 modules I was talking about. So it's kind of split up into those 4 because there's a lot of different parts that kind of work together within those, and again, we'll get deeper into what that looks like and why they work together. But we're going to focus on just one of them today, distress tolerance. I wanted to focus on this one today because this one's super helpful with just things that suck in our life. There's going to be situations, there's going to be moments where things just suck, and there's not a whole lot we can do. We just got to help ourselves through it. We got to help ourselves manage different aspects of things. And these skills will help us do that. It's hard dealing with situations we can't do much with. We don't like being out of control as human beings in general. So feeling like I have a situation I can't do much with just kind of generally bugs us and creates problems for us, even if it's not a huge issue by itself. So we want to help ourselves accept these things, get to that acceptance piece, because that acceptance can help release the pain, release the intensity of things, and help us just keep going with our life and find that success that we need. When we're under pressure, when we're competing, when we are, on the field, whether we're in our job, whatever it may be, when that pressure is on, there's moments where we feel like we're going to just explode and we don't know what to do. We don't know how to get out of it. These are the kind of things that are going to help regulate ourselves in that moment so we can keep doing what we need to do and get past that obstacle, get past that hard moment, whatever it may be, to help us just keep moving forward. That's how we get to the success. We're going to have obstacles that pop up, but we got to help ourselves get through them, get past them, and get to the other side of them. It just takes some skills and a little bit of some strategies to help us get there, and that's why I want to keep offering this stuff to you guys. So distress tolerance is a core component in DBT designed to help individuals manage emotional distress without resorting to self-destructive behaviors. Self-destructive behaviors could be all sorts of things. It could be running into like substance use. It could be engaging in risky behavior like sexual activity outside of certain relationships. It could be self-harm. It could be suicidal ideation. It could be anger management type problems, punching holes in walls, these kind of things. There's a lot of different stuff. So we're just trying to get away from making life harder while we're in these really hard situations, because sometimes we do things to create bigger problems when it's already a problem. DBT focuses on building skills in 4 key areas, those 4 modules we talked about, and within distress tolerance, the emphasis is on accepting and tolerating distressing situations and emotions that are difficult to change. Emotion regulation, one of the other modules, is about changing our emotions and changing where we're at, changing what we're feeling. This one is more so we're stuck in it, we can't get out of it, we got to help ourselves through it. And I think that one is a good one to start with, being that I've already talked about one distress tolerance skill with you guys, but also because, especially at the beginning of this journey, most of the struggle happens at the front. As we get deeper into it, you get more skills and more tools. It's usually easier to manage. There's less difficult situations. We can't turn off difficulty in life, but we just kind of manage it a little easier and a little more effectively. The distress tolerance module includes several skill sets. The first one is the crisis survival skills. These are immediate short-term strategies used to manage high levels of emotional distress. They include techniques such as distracting, self-soothing, improving the moment, thinking of pros and cons, all these kind of things to help us right there in the moment when we're in crisis and we're just totally overwhelmed. There are a lot of different ones we can use in that, and there's a lot of different ways we can use some of the other ones for crisis as well. It's again just trying things out, seeing what works for you, and kind of creating your own little survival kit of what you need when you're in crisis, whatever that crisis may look like for you. Reality acceptance skills is another part of it. These skills involve learning to fully accept reality as it is rather than fighting it. When we fight with reality, when we resist it, it tends to lead to more struggle, more pain, more problems. Sometimes we got to accept situations, we got to help ourselves accept what's going on, because it leads to this just reduction in suffering. That's what can come from acceptance. It's just hard to accept some things, especially things we don't want to happen. So within this category, there are techniques like radical acceptance, turning the mind, the concept of willingness versus willfulness. There's all these kind of things that pop up in that moment, because this is more about how do I accept the situation and then get to work. And that's what a lot of those things are focusing on, is what am I doing? How can I get myself to a point where I can just accept this and keep moving? We also have the tip skills. That's one we talked about already in that first episode. If you guys haven't heard it, feel free to go back and check that out. I'm going to go over it again, but I won't go into it as much depth as I did in that first episode. So check it out through that, and I'll also post these things on the social media pages. I mean, that's the other thing to keep in mind. Anytime I go over anything that comes with like a document, like a worksheet or a reminder or something I want you guys to have, I'm always going to post those on the socials, so you can access those and you guys can take advantage of those and just keep them for yourself, whether you just keep them on your phone or print them out, whatever you want to do with them. With TIP, these skills are physiological methods to quickly reduce distress by changing the body chemistry. That's why they work so well, and that's why I like to go over them in that first session, that first episode, because that helps us really start working with the biological processes of our body, which tend to work a little bit better than trying to train that mind if we haven't done anything with the mind yet. They're particularly useful in calming down the body and mind when emotions run high. The goal of distress tolerance and DBD is not to avoid or escape discomfort, but to increase one's ability to withstand and function during these times of crisis without making impulsive decisions. So this is helping us sit in the suck. And I know we don't want to live in the suck, but sometimes we do get stuck in it. So it's helping us sit in that and then helping us manage it in an effective way where we're not just kind of flailing and reacting and doing impulsive things and trying to figure things out, and we're actually doing things that work for us. And through practicing these skills, individuals can learn to experience their emotions more fully and respond to distressing situations in a more balanced and effective manner, which really helps open us up to living a fuller life. It helps increase our relationships like we were talking about. But it also helps us reach that success because now we're in control of things and we're managing things and we're not just guessing and throwing things at the wall and hoping it worked out and sometimes cleaning up our own messes that we created because we reacted in a certain way or we did something impulsive in another situation. So we want to keep this stuff in mind, and we want to practice these things best we can, and we'll get deeper into different things you can practice along with it, but we really want to help build up our ability to sit in the suck, because as we're doing the work, that's where we need to sit sometimes. You know, you can see that with trauma work. If you go back to that trauma episode and thinking about the difficulty of sitting in certain distressing memories or situations or experiences to help yourself process it, that's where this is a benefit of helping us kind of build through that. And that's why we talk about these things first, because it helps us get through these things and get to the hard stuff and get that stuff processed, because now we have what we need to get in there. Just like getting on the right gear to go fight a fire. You could go fight a fire with none of it on, but it's going to be a whole lot harder than what it would be like if you had all your gear and you're ready to go. So we need to get our gear, we need to get ready to go, be willing to handle these tough situations so when they pop up, that we can manage them and we can find success and we don't kind of crumble to them. So the first one I'm going to talk about is that first one we talked about in the first episode, which is tip. I just want to go over it again real quick so you guys have that, because I find it super helpful and I find some really good things from it. That tip skill, we got the 4 letters, T-I, and then 2 P's. And what this stands for are different pieces that you can take advantage of for the body as you're going through distress. So the T is temperature. We want to cool our body down. We can cool our body down in a lot of different ways. It could be ice, it could be a cold shower, it could be dunking our head in water, whatever it is. We just want to cool our body down. It could just be standing outside when it's cold out. We got the I, which is intense exercise. We want to get the energy out when we're under bunch of pressure. When we're overwhelmed, we can just feel that energy build up inside and feel like we're going to blow up. So we want to get that out. We want to release that energy. We want to have it come out in a way where it's not causing more problems for us because there's enough going on. And we want to let things kind of relax and feel a little better, feel a little calmer as we do release it. The first P is paced breathing. We want to calm ourselves down, calm our body down. We want to show ourselves that our body is safe and we're okay and we can manage the situation we're in. But to do that, sometimes we got to impact that nervous system and how it's playing out too. So paced breathing can help in a lot of ways. That can be a really beneficial thing. The next one after that is progressive muscle relaxation. That's flexing muscles and relaxing muscles. We want to release the tension from our body and make sure when our brain is checking in with our body that nothing is holding tension that doesn't need to be holding tension. So checking in with these things, working through that tension, making sure we're getting that all out and everything's feeling loose can help our body just feel a little more safer. So again, I went over this stuff much more in depth in that first episode. If that's something you want to learn a little bit more of or just get deeper into of what this looks like and how to use these skills, jump into that and give that a shot, see what you get from that. If you have specific questions about it, again, shoot me a message in any of these ways and I'd love to answer it and help you guys out, get what you need. So the next skill, and I'm not going to cover all of the distress tolerance skills, I just want to cover some of them so you guys have an awareness of what they are, what they look like, and can maybe practice a couple for yourself. The next one is radical acceptance. This one is our hardest skill because it's about accepting things we don't want to accept, and that sucks. So radical acceptance is accepting reality on reality's terms. So we may not be happy with the situation, we may not be happy with what's going on or how something's going, but we may still need to accept it as it is. And that's what radical acceptance is about. It's about accepting the situation as it is. Once we can accept it, then we can get to work. Then we can start to do something. So if I just dropped a bowl and I broke it, I could just be pissed off that the bowl's broken and that there's pieces everywhere and it's going to take me 20 minutes to clean this all up and I got stuff I got to do. That would be us resisting the reality. The radical acceptance piece would be, all right, I dropped it, it broke, that sucks. Now what do I need to do? Maybe I go get the broom, maybe I go start picking up some pieces, whatever it is. Now I just start getting to the work. If I get caught up on the woe is me, how is this happening, I got other things I need to do, that's going to give us more pain because we're sitting there stuck on it. We're ruminating on it. It's giving us more struggle, more issues, more frustrations. We got to help ourselves get to a point of accepting it happened. Now let's do something about it. Now let's get to work. Let's do what we got to do, whatever it may be. That's going to help reduce that pain. It's going to help us fix the problem. It's going to help us get to problem solving quicker. So trying your best to accept the reality in situations. And that doesn't mean that we want to just accept situations and not have any urge to change anything. We want to fight for change. That's a good thing too. And that's part of that success is fighting for things to break in different ways and help people in different ways. But some situations, it's not about change. It's about accepting this thing happened and it may be something that we really don't like. But if we can't do anything about that it happened, let's get to work on what we can do. That's control the controllables. Do what we can control. All right, so that's radical acceptance. That's less of like an actual step-by-step process. It's more of a mindset. It's hard to do. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. It's just like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. So keep that in mind. Practice that as you can. Find yourself doing it in little situations. If you're stuck in traffic, remind yourself, the radical acceptance. Traffic sucks. What can I do to make this more enjoyable for myself? It can't get easy just to get caught up in our mind, resist that reality, and just be pissed off it's happening. But if we can accept it and move past that, now you might enjoy your drive home, even if we are stuck in traffic. Right. The next one is called improve, and this is about improving the moment. We want to improve certain moments and help them feel better because sometimes they're just tough and sometimes they just hurt. So improve, each letter stands for a different part. I'm going to run through them by myself, just kind of talking. But again, I'm going to post content on social media that's going to show this broken down so you can have it for yourself if you want to go back to it or if you want to remind yourself of what each letter stands for and how to use it. So I stands for imagery. That's like that mental imagery, kind of going back to that visualization with that brain activity we talked about. Just visualizing something. That could be, a peaceful place. That could be somewhere you like. That could be a person you love. That could be something that's just an enjoyable view. Whatever it is. It's just some imagery that makes you feel good. So just letting ourselves close our eyes, have that visualization, feel that peace kind of wash over us and feel like we're okay. The M, the next step, is meaning. Trying to find meaning in things. It can be hard to do, but there's always a sliver of meaning in everything that we're going through. You can find something you can gain from it. So that could be finding meaning in, I'm having difficulty on this math test, I don't understand what's wrong with it. Well, the meaning in this is maybe I need to study more things, or maybe this is an opportunity for me to get better and to figure out how to overcome an obstacle. Maybe this is a chance for me to figure out how to ask for help when I haven't done it before. Whatever it is, we're just trying to find some underlying meaning of why this is happening or why am I going through this moment. And sometimes it's just that woe is me, how is this happening, going back to that resisting reality. But we want to try and shift it towards something productive, something growth oriented, like what can I gain from this? The next step after that, P, is prayer. This could be an actual prayer that we do that just kind of feels like it's reconnecting us to our spirituality, our religion. This could be a prayer that we have for ourselves. That could be putting something just to a higher power. That could be something just spirituality-wise in terms of like nature. Whatever it is. It's just kind of putting out an ask for help of putting some weight on some other shoulders or something bigger than us. Feeling like we don't need to carry it all by ourselves. There's a lot of benefit of this in religion. And a lot of people have felt this in a lot of different ways. Feeling like they're not alone in things. So it can help out in a lot of ways, just feeling like you can reach out and connect with something bigger than you, feeling like you're not alone in it all by yourself. So keep that in mind. That can help out a lot. Just play with that in a way that feels good for you. Again, this is about how it works for you, not how it works for someone else. Then we got the R, which is about relaxation. That's doing things to relax and to kind of slow things down, calm things down. That could be focusing on the sensations, those 5 senses, and focusing on things that we can do within there that kind of relax our body and feel good. Maybe a certain food you like to eat or a certain thing you like to hear. Just trying to create some relaxation for yourself that just feels good, whatever that may be. Maybe it's reading a book on the couch, maybe it's watching a movie, maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's just sitting in quiet for a little bit. But just trying to find a way to get that relaxation. We have the O, which stands for one thing at a time. We just want to do one thing at a time, especially in a tough situation. We can have a list of 1,000 different things we got to get done and stress ourselves out that we don't know if we're ever going to get it done or get finished. And we got to slow it down and break it down, because if we keep it small, we can manage a lot of different things. We just tend to get into these situations where we start looking at the whole picture and everything that needs to get done, and then that kind of blows out our window of tolerance. We feel overwhelmed, it stresses us out, we feel like we don't have enough time in the day to get everything done. So focus on one of these steps at a time, and it's going to make it easier for you to get through things. They've even shown this in the military when people are going through Hell Week. It's like a week of just really terrible, hard trainings, and they've done some research looking into who makes it through Hell Week and who doesn't and why. And the biggest thing they have found from the research I read is that the people that don't make it through the week are the ones that are thinking about the whole week they have to do. It just overwhelms their body. It feels like they're never going to get it done, and they feel like they just can't make it there. So it's easier for the brain to just kind of get to that idea of quitting, of like, I just can't do it, I got to tap out, I can't make it through. The ones that were successful, that made it to the end, typically looked at it in terms of right there in that moment, what do I need to do? And the fact of they're going to have to feed me in about 8 hours. So let me get through this 8 hours. If they kept it small like that and kind of chunked it down, it was a lot more manageable. It's a lot easier to fix. And that would lead to them, finding success more often than not, getting through that week and getting out of a week and back into more of the training. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is when we are getting overwhelmed, try and keep it small. We can write lists in our phone, write it down, whatever we need to do, just to make sure we don't forget certain things. But while we're doing it, we want to have just one thing in mind. We want to be one-minded. We don't want to do a lot of stuff at once. We're not good at multitasking like that, and it's just super stressful and overwhelming. The brain just juggles stuff. So try and just do one thing at a time and keep it small and see where that goes. The V stands for vacation. That could be imagery vacation, where you're just closing your mind and picturing yourself somewhere else. That could be just going somewhere. Maybe it's like a park nearby where you just feel like you can sit and just take in the area or take in the scenes. Maybe it's just going for a drive. You just need a break from whatever you're doing. Maybe it's an actual vacation where you're like going to Hawaii or something. You just want some time on the beach to relax and enjoy yourself. Whatever it is. So that V is just getting a break, whether it's actually physically leaving and going to get a break, or whether that's just in that moment, I just need to stop doing what I'm doing and go take care of me for a little bit. And then the E, the last step, is encouragement. Kind of building ourselves up, helping ourselves handle things. This is the kind of stuff we see in the gym. Like, you got this, one more set, you can do it. It's just doing this for ourselves. We tend to beat ourselves up a lot, and we're pretty negative and criticizing or critical of ourselves. So this is a way to kind of change that self-talk and be a little more motivating to ourselves, and just treat ourselves like we treat a friend. Just kind of build ourselves up and push ourselves forward to go achieve whatever we're trying to achieve, or get through this tough moment, get to a moment that feels a little more calmer, a little more manageable. So that's improve. Different steps for every letter, different things to kind of improve that moment, make things feel a little easier and help us keep going. So try it out a little bit, see what you think, see what you like about it, see what doesn't work for you, and we can keep on building on these things. The next one is called self-soothe. Self-soothe is a little simpler. It's not each letter stands for something else. It's just going back to those 5 senses again. We want to focus on those 5 senses. That's where we get a lot of information. Our taste, our hearing, our touch, smell, all this kind of stuff. And we want to really focus on what we enjoy through those senses and practice with those things. So if you have a certain sensation that you really like, maybe it's a smell, you can light that candle. Maybe it's a certain food that makes you feel good, you can eat that food on a tough day. Maybe it's a certain comfort, like a jacket that you just like that makes you feel comfortable, or a blanket, and let's get that on. It's just kind of focusing on those 5 senses and making sure that you're getting something that feels good. Be careful with certain emotions that pop up, is sometimes we want our external world to feel kind of aligned with what we're feeling internally. So like if you're feeling really sad, it can be easy to just listen to a bunch of sad music, that kind of stuff. I'm sure you guys have done that before. Keep in mind, sometimes we want to push past that and do something different. While it can feel good to feel like the external world is aligning up with our internal world, sometimes we need to pull ourselves out of our own internal world and get to something that feels better, not something that matches. So just keep that in mind. Be careful with that. We don't want to get stuck in a hole. The next one after that is called accepts. And accepts, kind of like improve, Every letter stands for a different thing, and accepts is more focused on just different ways to distract. Sometimes we need to distract because there's tough things happening. We can't do anything about it. We just got to get it off our mind for a little bit. And I'm sure you guys have been there before where there's a situation that just sucks and we just can't do anything about it. So we just got to move forward or do something else and keep ourselves going. This will be posted on social media, but I'll run through it real quick just so you guys have an idea. The A stands for activities. That's just different things. That could be doing a puzzle, that could be watching a movie, that could be hanging out with friends, that could be cleaning, that could be cooking something. It's just different things that we could physically do that's going to keep us busy. The first C stands for contributing, contributions. It's just giving back in some way, maybe helping out a friend. Maybe we go and volunteer. Maybe we go and help someone nearby. Maybe we go help a neighbor. Maybe we go bake some goods and give it to a bunch of people that we know. Maybe we look out for a coworker, whatever it is. It's just trying to get out of our world, our problems, and focusing on someone else's world and their problems. That's something that I have gotten a benefit from just the work I do. If I have like a tough day and I'm going into work with people with their struggles, it can be a nice break to not think about mine for a little bit and focus on someone else's and feel like I'm helping them out and doing some good things for them. And as we're talking it through and working through some things, sometimes you get little pieces of advice that you realize could work for you as well. So don't be afraid to explore that and see what's helpful in that. It's just kind of getting out of our own world and helping other people however we can, even if it's just checking in and sending a quick text. The next C stands for comparisons. And this one's tricky because comparisons can very easily be the thief of joy. So we want to do it a certain way. The way I like to do it is I like focusing on comparing ourselves now to who we were in the past. We don't often stop and give ourselves credit for how far we've come and what we've gotten done. We tend to just look at what needs to be done next. So taking some time to really enjoy your accomplishments and how far you've come and what you've built can feel really good, and it can give us that energy of, okay, maybe I can handle this situation too. So compare yourself to where you were, give yourself a shout out, give yourself that pat on that back, and show yourself, I am building things up, I am doing good things. It just takes time. The next E is different emotions. And this is about showing our body that we can feel different things and not just get stuck in one. Sometimes we get stuck in one, whether it's anxiety or anger or sadness, and it feels like that's all we feel. So this one is just showing ourselves that we can feel other things. That could be watching a movie that makes you laugh. That could be listening to music and having a certain playlist that always makes you happy. This could be talking to a friend that always kind of cheers you up. This could also be just like watching a scary movie. They've shown in research that if we're depressed, if we have that low mood, low energy, that sadness, sometimes other emotions are tough to get to. Like you can watch a comedy and just not laugh the whole time because you're not letting yourself really fully engage in it. But the one thing you can't really stop yourself from doing is getting scared. So watching a scary movie can jolt us back into action of feeling things other than that sadness. Maybe it's fear, but maybe that's something that we can use as a bridge to start feeling other things, and maybe we watch like a comedy after that. So just kind of exploring different emotions we can pull out of ourselves in different ways so we can keep on moving and keep doing some good things in our life. We'll explore that a little bit, see where that goes. And in the future, if any of these skills are something you guys want me to go more in depth with, I can absolutely do that. Again, just reach out, let me know. That would be really helpful for me to know what you guys are looking for and what you want more of. Because I don't want to drown you guys in information you don't fully need, but I also don't want to hold back information you do want. So let me know if you guys want me to go deeper into any of these. The next one after that E is the P, which is push away. And that's just taking a break from what we're doing. How many of you out there have had a situation where you're really stressed out, frustrated with something not working out how you wanted it to, and you don't know what's going wrong? And then you take a break, you go do something else, you come back to it, and the answer is right in front of your face the whole time. It can be really frustrating, but it happens quite often. We just got to help ourselves see that we just need a break sometimes, let our brain reset, let our mind reset, and then we can come back to what we need to do, and oftentimes we're going to do a whole lot better with getting the answer we're trying to get. Sometimes we just need that break. The T stands for thoughts. We just want to use different thoughts to keep our mind occupied. The amount of real estate we have up here is limited. We can only think about a certain amount of things at a certain time. So if we can keep that brain occupied enough, it can manage to keep away certain things that are kind of distressing, kind of tough. This is why people count sheep to fall asleep. Is you're keeping your brain busy enough so it's not drifting off to all these other thoughts, but it's not so enticing to our brain to keep us awake at the same time. We can do this while we're awake doing things. Like if you're having a tough moment, you can literally stand outside and just count leaves on a tree. It's going to kind of keep that brain occupied, not let a bunch of thoughts start flooding in. And this can be really helpful if we have any issues with like overthinking. So keep that in mind and explore that a little bit. See how that plays out. But the T in that thoughts is just kind of keeping that brain active and keeping it busy with other things so it doesn't drift off to all these things that are beating us up. And then the S, sensations. We've talked about it a couple times already, but I'll just go over it real quickly, which is just those 5 senses again. The 5 senses can really help us in a lot of ways. That's why it's kind of scattered throughout this. So just kind of using things in those 5 senses that feel good to help us feel better in that moment and just remind ourselves we can feel okay. Sometimes we just got to break that pattern, pull ourselves out of that hole a little bit. So that's accept, explore that, see if that's helpful, see what you guys think. The next one is called stop. And it still works the same way as improve or accept or tip, where each letter stands for a different part. And stop is a really cool one to start with. It's a cool one because it's a good transition skill. By itself, it doesn't do a whole lot, but what it does is it buys us time so we're not impulsive, we're not reactive. And it helps us get to another skill that's going to probably help us out a little bit more. So stop, what the S stands for, is stop. Literally just stop whatever you're doing. Don't let yourself keep going. Don't let yourself dive deeper into it. Just take a break. Stop for a second. That T is take a step back. I'm going to take a step back from whatever we're doing. Just kind of have that 10,000-foot view. Really look at the bigger picture. What are we trying to accomplish here? What are we trying to get done? What is happening? And that leads us to the O, which is observe. What is going on? What am I feeling? What emotions are coming up? What am I experiencing? What am I feeling? Am I having a tough day? What are the people around me doing? Are people around me really pressured and stressed out about this thing too? Or am I the only one? You know, just kind of observing what is happening. Let's just check in with that reality and see what's going on, what is happening in this moment. The P is proceed mindfully. So what that means is then we want to find a skill that's going to help us proceed in a helpful way, an effective way in our life as we move forward. So that P, that proceed mindfully, is where it happens to be kind of a transition, where we kind of take that step, we stop what we're doing, we relax a little bit, see what's going on, and then it helps us figure out where to go next. Maybe the next thing is, okay, I'm going to use the tip skill and see where that goes. Maybe it's I got to distract, I just got to get my mind off of it, so I'm going to use accept. Maybe it's I'm going to use self-soothe because I really like self-soothe. Maybe it's I need radical acceptance because the situation just sucks and I'm hating it right now. Maybe it's something else. But giving yourself that second to really check in and see what you need in that moment can help you get the success you're looking for. So that's stop. The next one is problem solving. And, you know, like most of you have heard before, problem solving is just kind of solving our problems. Maybe it's talking it through with a friend, maybe it's working it through with a therapist, you know, maybe it's working it through on a certain technique we have to just see what problem we can deal with, what things we can't deal with. Looking at certain options, we can use different skills like the reverse brainstorm or even brainstorming to see what options we can create or we can do. It's just kind of trying to solve our problems, because if we can solve the problem and make it easier, it's going to help us manage things. It's going to help with that distressing situation. So if there's any questions on any of those, let me know. There's more skills in that, and if you want to explore those more, feel free to. There's a lot of great stuff out there about DBT, and I'll get a little deeper into that at the end of just where you can look for that. But just explore that, see what's helpful in it. If there's more you want or more in depth you want, just let me know, because I'd love to provide that. So I just want to kind of go back and explain why it's important to do these things, because, you know, it's great to talk about how helpful these things are, but sometimes we need the why to really get ourselves to do it. Like we talked about, acceptance reduces pain. Sometimes things suck, and, you know, all we can do is just help ourselves get through it. So these are these skills, and that's what these are meant to do, is just help us get through certain things and help us get closer to that acceptance. Because if we can, it's going to reduce pain. A great example of this are the animal buffalo with thunderstorms. Buffalo have learned that they should run towards thunderstorms, not away from them. And part of the reason for that is what they've learned by facing and embracing stress and struggle versus running from it. Because if they run from the thunderstorm, they end up actually being in that thunderstorm longer. It just gets stuck on them because they can't really outrun it, so they just get stuck in it longer. If they run towards it, they are in it, it sucks, but they get out of it quicker because it passes. And that's the same thing with our life too. We have an anxiety. You can try and avoid it all day long, and it's going to suck, it's going to hurt, it's going to probably mess with you a little bit longer. Or we can face it. We can charge at it, we can run at it like those buffalo, and I know it's not fun, I know it's not easy, but if we can use the distress skills in this, the distress tolerance, it can help us face this, it can help us charge towards these things, even if we don't feel good, even if we're scared, and it can lead to the success we're looking for. We just got to help ourselves do it sometimes. So charge towards these things, facing the fear, facing the distress, wherever it's coming from, is going to help in the long run, and you're going to feel better after you're past it. If we try and run from it and avoid it, it's going to weigh on you and it's going to beat you up longer. It's kind of like holding off and not being the first one to go for a presentation in class. It's just going to sit there and hang on you the whole class until you go. But if you just say, I'm going to be the first one, and you just go, then once you go and you're done, you just relax and you feel that relaxation for the rest of class. That's that acceptance. I'm going to have to go, so let's just get it done. Let's just face it. So try and do it wherever you can in your life. Don't do it dangerously. We don't want to get ourselves in harmful situations. But we want to help ourselves accept and face the things that are difficult for us, because it's going to help us just keep moving. It's going to help us build up. It can help in a lot of different situations in our life. It can help through the rough moments. It can help us through rough situations in relationships where we want to just kind of run away or avoid, or we just want to let that ego come up and say we were right, we didn't do anything wrong, because it's easy to get caught. But we've got to help ourselves build through these things, because this stuff can destroy things in our life. And in the moment, it's going to feel like the right thing. But when you look back on it years later, even months later, you're probably going to regret certain things, because if we let ourselves fall into this stuff and get into that reactive mode of running, we typically don't like how it feels once we look back at how it went and what we did. So keep that in mind and trust yourself. You guys can handle the distress. You can handle the tough situations. We just got to help ourselves face them. And I know you guys can do it. I know it's hard. I know it's scary. And I get that stuff. And if I can help support you guys in any way to go do these things, let me know. But you guys have the power to do this stuff. We just got to help ourselves to do it. That's the hard part. So keep that in mind and try your best to practice these things. The more you use it, the easier it gets. The best way I like to use it is using that stop skill first to buy us time and figure out what should I transition into next. So maybe use the stop skill and keep practicing that, but keep changing up which skill you use afterward and see which one really fits in which situation, and just keep that in mind. If one thing worked in a situation, keep that in mind for next time, so hopefully you have that ready to go and you can get what you need in that situation and it doesn't cause more problems for you. This can be really helpful with suicidal ideation as well when people are suicidal, because suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts really come from being in pain in some way, whether it's chronic pain, whether it's emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain, any kind of pain, without knowing how to get out of it. Our brain just wants it to stop. It's kind of like rage quitting a video game. We just get so frustrated and so overwhelmed that our brain is ready to make things stop however it can, even if it's breaking the video game. Because we're not thinking things through. We're not thinking about what it's going to lead to, where it's going to go, how it's going to impact people. We're just thinking about, I'm in pain and I want it to stop. So if we can help ourselves get through the pain, get through the distress, it's going to lower that chance of any suicidal action happening, because we can manage that through distress tolerance. That's why we do some of these things. And I know there's a lot of talk out there about suicidal thoughts, and there's a lot of people that don't like talking about this stuff because it's a really loaded topic, very emotional topic. But I will say this stuff is very common. There's a lot of people out there that have suicidal thoughts, and there's a lot of people out there that have even passive suicidal thoughts, where it's like, I just wish I didn't wake up, or I wish I could just go to sleep and not wake up, these kind of things. It's not like I actually want to hurt myself, but I'm just so overwhelmed with everything. I just want a break from life altogether. And this stuff can be common, and we don't want it to build up, and it can haunt people in really tough ways. So helping people work on these distress tolerance skills to help manage this stuff can really help. And all this stuff will end at a certain point. We have another skill called ride the wave, which is about helping ourselves ride through these things and through these situations, because all waves end at some point. Any emotion any of you have ever felt before has ended at some point. And this is the truth with suicidal thoughts too. If we can buy ourselves time, we can get that to dissipate again and to kind of come back down and calm back down. We just got to maybe do some things to help ourselves in that moment, whether that's keeping ourselves safe and taking advantage of resources to buy time, whether it's using skills and strategies or leaning on support to help us through the distress so we're on the other side and feel like we can kind of think about it a little differently now. Sometimes it's not about fixing things in that moment. It's just, how do I get through this moment? How do I survive right now? And I want to do whatever I can to kind of help people with this, because there's a lot of people struggling with these things that don't talk about it because it's a very shameful based thing. They feel bad that it's even happening. They feel weak. They feel vulnerable. And they don't want to talk about it. And in all reality, it just makes it harder for the person going through it. And you got a lot of people typically nearby that want to help and they want to be there, but we got to know we need help. It's really tough for people to help if they don't know there's a struggle. I know it's tough to reach out because it's vulnerable. We have that chance of someone, dropping the ball and failing. But we also have the chance of people picking it up and getting our back and helping us out. That could be the thing that actually saves people's lives. So don't be afraid to reach out. You guys are loved and people want you here. You just got to let people have us here and let people keep us here. Don't be afraid to reach out and let people know when you're struggling. And keep practicing these things in the moment. It can really help in a lot of ways with this stuff if that is something that you do struggle with. And if that is something going on in your life, make sure you reach out and get what you need. Because it's not great to let these things hide in the dark. They just build up and they get worse. They don't typically get better if we try and run from them. They typically get worse. And I don't want you guys dealing with that weight. It can be really intense. So we use these skills to really give us better control of our life. It's going to help us handle situations. It's going to help us optimize our performance. It's going to help us effectively navigate different situations, whether it's relationships or career advancements or putting ourselves in vulnerable positions to try and find growth. These things are scary things. These things don't feel good. Growth comes from uncomfortable situations, whether we're in the gym or whether we're pursuing something in our career. So we got to help ourselves deal with that uncomfort. We got to help ourselves pursue that uncomfort. But to pursue it, we got to have some tools to deal with it. So we want to pursue these things and help ourselves overcome those obstacles because it's going to lead to more success. That's part of that premier mindset, setting up your brain, that mindset, to find success by pushing through these tough things and helping ourselves manage things in really beneficial and effective ways so we can continue to grow and build ourselves up and not break ourselves down and feel like we got to clean up something after we went through something tough. So practice these things as much as you can. The more you do it, the more your brain's going to go to it when you need it. If we avoid it or we only save it for when you need it, it's going to be really hard to use in that moment. We want to practice these things in all relevant contexts. So practice them as much as you can, and the easier it'll be to use these when you need them. We don't want to avoid distress. While it's tempting, and I understand why we don't want to face it, it just typically leads to more problems. Just like we talked about in that trauma episode, the best thing we can do is to face these things, because if you try and run from it, it's going to come back at some point, and now that's out of your control. It may come up in the middle of a work day. It may come up in the middle of a competition. It may come up in the middle of a game. We need to face the hard things when they're there, because that gives us control. If we wait, it's going to pop up at some point, and hopefully it pops up at a time that's not super, destructive, but it could pop up in the worst possible time you could imagine too. So try and face these things on your time frame as you can, because that gives you control and that allows you to manage these things when you have the ability and the time to do so, and not when you're feeling overwhelmed and you've got a lot of other things happening too. The other thing is avoidance tends to create a lot of problems. It fuels anxiety. It convinces ourselves and creates this narrative of I can't do it, I can't handle it, these things are too hard for me, they're too big. And that really beats us up. That really causes problems for us. That really, suffocates that self-esteem and that self-confidence that's going to help us reach these high levels. So we can't let ourselves get too caught up on that. We just want to face things and show ourselves we can and that we can handle it. The more you face things, the stronger you're going to get. We just got to face those fears. It's not easy to do, but we got a lot of skills and strategies to make it a little easier. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, just like anything we do in our lives. So keep pushing yourself to do this stuff. Keep trying your best to do these things. And if you can do this stuff every day, it's just going to help more. Mindfulness is a great practice to be practicing with every day if you can. The stress tolerance stuff kind of goes in line with that. You don't have to do it every day, but we want to find time to practice so you can build up these skills, build up these techniques, so when you need them, you are ready to go. That's the hardest part, because I have a lot of clients that struggle not with knowing them, that they perfectly know them, but they don't practice them enough when they're feeling okay. So when they're feeling really bad, it's super overwhelming and they don't know what to do, and they go back to past coping mechanisms that might not be super effective. and it leads to more problems, and they got more things to deal with, and it kind of keeps on adding on to that list of things to do. So try these things, build them up, see what works for you, see what you like, see what you don't like, and from there, you're going to just keep on adding to that toolbox and seeing what we can keep moving with. Recognition is the first step. If we don't understand what struggles we're having or what's tough for us or what's causing distressing situations, it's going to be really tough to deal with. If we don't know what works for us, it's going to be tough to deal with. So recognize what is working, what's not working, when do you need things, when are you struggling, what are you struggling with. And sometimes it's hard to see this stuff. Sometimes we don't want to look at it. But be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to face these fears and show yourself you can handle them, you can overcome them. You don't need to crumble to them. You don't need to fall apart in the face of them. We can face them and we can build ourselves even bigger. And that's that idea of optimizing performance. We don't want to get into a spot where we're facing a distressing situation and it breaks us down and we perform poorly. We want to perform better than everyone else. That's how we get to these top levels. So we really want to help harden ourselves and create that ability to manage these things while we still feel our full emotions completely, so that we have full control over our mind and our body to go reach that peak performance with whatever we are doing. If you have anyone that you think could benefit from this episode, whether it be just hearing certain parts of it or practicing some of the distress skills themselves, feel free to send this over to them. Anyone that could get some benefit from that. This is the goal of why we're doing this, is we just want to increase that education and awareness. So don't be afraid to send it out to someone you think could get it, some benefit from it. I think it would be super helpful, and I think there's a lot of people out there that need help with it. There's unfortunately a lot of people that don't want to admit their struggles or what they might need help with. So if you see somebody going through some of these things, feel free to just send this out. Hopefully they get a little something from it. Maybe it opens their eyes a little bit to it. Maybe they can start working on some skills. Maybe it just starts a conversation. But don't be afraid to share these things and use this again as a tool for people in your life and for yourself. And if you get benefit from it, feel free to send it off to someone too. Because my goal here is just to help you guys do the best you can do. And with a lot of this stuff, a rising tide lifts all boats. Other people doing well isn't going to take anything away from us. So helping other people benefit and helping them get what they need and better understand themselves really is just going to help us be happier too in the long run. So don't be afraid to share this stuff and put it out there. And if there's more I can help with, more I can explain, questions you have about certain topics or certain aspects of this, please feel free to reach out to me however you can. I'd love to hear from you guys. I just love hearing from you guys in general, whether it be feedback or just questions or just a statement. But if I can help in any way, whether it be one-on-one, that crown jewel that we offer here at Premier Performance, or whether I point you in a direction to get what you need, I'd love to do so. I just want to help you guys make life easier. Life is hard enough. We need a little bit of support sometimes just getting through it. It would be nice if we had some of these things earlier, because it can build us up. And if we practice these things earlier, then the more accomplished, the more expert we are with it as we get older and we go through our life. So if you guys do have anything for me, feel free to reach out. There's a lot of different ways. You can email me. My email is tmahler@premierperformancereno.com. My last name is spelled M-A-H-L-E-R. You can text or call at 775-561-0056. I got the Instagram account where I post a lot of things, whether it be little clips of this stuff, a lot of different kind of content, and that's Premier_Performance_Reno. I got the Facebook and LinkedIn page, Premier Performance LLC, for both of those. And we'll keep adding stuff. And again, this episode is YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of these kind of things. It's everywhere we can put it. If there's anywhere you want it that you don't see it, let me know. I'll get it up there. And like, subscribe, favorite, all these kind of things. Be super helpful. Leave reviews. Whatever you can do is going to really help us out. And even if you just have some feedback, I'd really appreciate it. I just want to give you guys what you're looking for. So if you have anything from me that I can provide or I can do better, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'm open to anything you guys got from me. If you do want to explore more of this stuff, I think the best way to do that would be to explore Dr. Marsha Linehan's work. They have a lot of stuff out there. They have whole courses teaching this stuff. They have books that focus on these things. You could even just get the DBT book and go through all the skills yourself if you want to. There's a lot of stuff out there. I'm going to go deeper into DBT in a future episode, but if you want to explore this stuff more yourself, feel free to do that. And I'm going to post things on the social media accounts of the skills we talked about, so you guys can reference those and give those a shot in your life if you want. So check those out and make sure you get those as well. And next week, we're going to get into some stuff about emotions. We're going to hopefully talk about Maslow's as well. And that's going to be something we'll discuss of what that looks like and how that can impact our emotions and how that impacts our mental health as well. So I think that's a good point for people to recognize if we don't fully understand where we're at and what we need right now. So emotions are a big one too. There's a lot of emotions a lot of people don't want to feel. There's a lot of things with emotions that people are just confused about. So I'm going to help clear that up and provide some clarity, hopefully, to help you guys understand what we can get from emotions and how we can better use them and better hear our body when it's talking. So take advantage of the distress tolerance skills, use them out, see if they help, see if they work, see if you like them, see which one works best for you, see which one works best for anyone else in your life. And we'll keep building on top of this stuff. Every episode, we're just going to keep building on top of things. They're all going to kind of come together. And they're not kind of just, I mean, there is individual things you can get from each of them that I really want to build on top of each of them because I have these concepts set up in certain ways for you guys to just keep on building on what we've learned before. So if you haven't listened to the past episodes, feel free to go check them out. If you have any questions or things that I can do, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great week. Go be the best you can be. Use these things, help optimize that performance, create that premier mindset, and if you need any help with anything, you just let me know because my goal is to help you guys out. Otherwise, I hope all is good, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Have a good one.